What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. In this video, I'll be going over my transfer plan for the upcoming double game week 25. So yes, the time is upon us, the hectic part of the season, the doubles, the blanks, all that good stuff is right on our doorstep, and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to address that with my transfer plan heading into the upcoming game week 25. So I'm going to start off with a quick recap of game week 24. Still do have one game coming up tonight, Chelsea vs Crystal Palace. So I'll give you guys where the current rank is sitting with one game to play. Then all the attention will be turned to the upcoming double game week 25, one free transfer with quite a bit of value in the bank, and I'm planning to use that to do an upgrade. So that's what you guys are interested in. Sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So going over the current rank and how the team is currently doing in game week 24, as you guys can see, 75 points, so a pretty decent score, with a game week rank under the 1 million mark. So that good score is going to take us just below the 50k mark to the 48k mark, and with one player left, I think we can improve that slightly. Now the total points are 1,477, and in the comments down below, let me know how many points you guys are on, how was game week 24, and where you guys sitting in the overall ranks. Now for the upcoming game week 25, one free transfer and 3.8 million left in the bank, so an upgrade can be made if you want to use it. Now before we go over the actual team, as mentioned, Chelsea vs Crystal Palace still to be played tonight. The only player I own is going to be Cole Palmer, so fingers crossed he has a massive one, but the effective ownership is quite high in his regard. So I think for every point he scores tonight, I rise 500k places, so let's hope that he scores a Hattie and maybe gets a 20-pointer. Now if you guys watch my deadline stream, you'll know I was kind of deciding between taking a -4 hit for Diogo Jota. I think he scored 7 points at the end of the day, so anything less than that by 4 points. So fingers crossed Cole Palmer scores 4 points or more. So one attacking return will mean that that hit wasn't worth it, and therefore my logic was correct. So let's see if Cole Palmer can come in clutch tonight. Now before I go over those 75 points on our bench, we also had some points yet again. It was going to be Saliba with a massive 12 points after getting a clean sheet, a goal, but no bonus points. So I really wish that I started Saliba in my defensive department over some of my defenders, but I actually thought West Ham would have put up more of a fight. At least Garnacho didn't score any more points yet again on our bench. He only got the 2 points, and Areola got 0 points. He played the game, but conceded 6 goals. Then in terms of Lascelles was back in the matchday squad, so on the bench, but didn't come off. But I can't really see him starting too many games in that starting 11. Now speaking about Newcastle, our goalkeeper of choice Dubravka scored 1 point. So massive difference of 1 point between our sub and our starter. But both these teams' defenses are simply terrible at the moment. So don't you know what's happened with the Newcastle defense, but they can't really keep a clean sheet at all anymore. And same can be said about West Ham. So it would be quite interesting to see if we looked at the stats for the defensive departments, we might literally own the goalkeepers from the 2 worst defenses. Well, at least that's how it feels at the moment. At least our defensive department got a little bit better. We were a little bit unlucky with Trent Alexander-Arnold. He came off at the half-time mark, but got an assist, and therefore ended on 4 points. So all eyes will be on Trent's kind of injury update this midweek. I really do hope that he's back to full fitness. Bringing him in for game week 24 and then getting injured isn't that good. Obviously, we brought him in for that double game week 25. Liverpool didn't keep the clean sheet though when Trent was on the field, but no goals were scored after that. Then the player I wish I started Saliba over was going to be Pedro Porro. The reason I started him was Brighton had so many injuries. João Pedro was out with an injury. I thought that maybe this was the game week that Spurs kept a clean sheet, and I guess they only lost their clean sheet to a penalty, which is quite unlucky. So 6 points would looked a lot better than 2 points versus 12 points. It would have been a deficit anyways because Pedro Porro has 0 attacking threat at the moment. So what could have been if Saliba just started over Porro, or maybe we didn't bring Trent in with that extra transfer, but I don't really regret the decision too much. At least we started his colleague Gabriel for his 12 pointer as well, so both these 2 options, getting a goal, a clean sheet, but no bonus points is pretty mental, and just shows you how many goals were scored in that fixture. So the double up dream wasn't to be had, unfortunately. Maybe next game week we can have it. Now midfield department also started off a bit slow. We've got Richarlison with only 2 points in that 2-1 win for Spurs. They scored in the kind of the last minute, and unfortunately Richarlison wasn't involved in either of the goals. Now Son is back from the Asia Cup but didn't even start this game, so we might have some heavy rotation for the future game weeks. So let's see if Richarlison actually starts the next ones. Then obviously Cole Palmer has the fixture tonight. Fingers crossed that he gets a haul, like Saka did against West Ham. So 15 points is pretty respectable from a player that a lot of people have been taking out. The form hasn't really been there, but he's been ticking along nicely. We just needed this week for him to break out like last game week. So I'll definitely take those 15 points to the bank, a massive haul. and his ownership might not be as high as you are expecting. Then our last option for Foden were only the 3 points, pretty disappointing kind of here, wasn't involved in either Erling Haaland goal, and Everton were actually pretty decent at the setup. But I guess Phil has scored us plenty of points like last game week with that 20-pointer, so I'm not complaining too much. Now the final department of forwards, a massive decision had to be made who to take out for Darwin Núñez. Well, it wasn't Solanke and he got an assist for Bournemouth. It's a pretty kind of quiet game, although Dom Solanke did miss a big chance, was expecting a bit more here from the striker, as he racked up a ton of XG for game week 24. Now the best thing is that he did outperform Ollie Watkins after Ollie Watkins' blank against United. Don't ask me how he blanked, I think he missed 2 big chances, but at least the play we brought in from Darwin Núñez ended up scoring. Now in classic Darwin Núñez fashion, picked up a yellow card, but that was made up with an extra bonus point. Also don't really know how he got that because he wasn't anywhere near come the end of the game. But I'll definitely take it, and as mentioned, Ollie Watkins ended up blanking, but really next game week will tell us if that was a good or bad decision. Then the final option, our captain, perma-captain Erling Haaland, started off pretty quiet in the opening half. A lot of people were saying maybe the Gundy curse is correct, but then he goes and smashes 2 goals in the second half and gets maximum bonus points. So 13 points isn't too shabby for our captain. A little bit unlucky if you guys went for a Liverpool option, but unfortunately the perma-captain's back. But as you guys can see, 75 points plus whatever Cole Palmer gets tonight. Would have loved the Saliba points instead of the Pedro Porro ones, but the rank is looking pretty decent at the moment. In the comments down below, let me know if your rank is also looking pretty decent. How many points did you guys score in game week 24? And what are the moves looking like for the next game week? Now before I go over my actual transfer plan with that 1 free transfer and that 3.8 million left in the bank, I want to showcase how my current starting 11 is looking. This allows you to get the background of my players currently, the injury situation and my transfer plan, and then I'll go over my plan moves next. So let's take a look at our bench. Who's going to score points on our bench this week? Might be Cole Palmer against Man City. I'm just benching him because this is quite a bad game, and my other attackers have better fixtures. Then Pedro Porro against Wolves at home. Wolves have also been scoring pretty freely, and at the moment I don't trust that Spurs defense. Also added to that, James Maddison taking all the set pieces. The attacking threat of Pedro Porro has gone down drastically. I'm just keeping him for that blank game week 29 fixture. Then finally Lascelles against Bournemouth. He is back in the squad, but I don't expect him to start. But maybe Eddie Howe shakes it up after some pretty dismal defensive performances. Then finally, kind of 50-50 in the goalkeeper department, Areola versus Dubravka, currently starting Dubravka, but I guess I do own Solanke and hope that he scores. So don't be surprised if I do start Areola. I think neither of these teams can keep a clean sheet, but I do own the Bournemouth attacker. So it might be the aggressive play of kind of hoping that Solanke scores and West Ham keep a clean sheet or playing the odds, and if Dubravka keeps a clean sheet, maybe Solanke doesn't get any points. So I'll see how I feel about that game week 25 deadline. Now defensive department is all going to be reliant on one man, and that's Trent Alexander-Arnold. All eyes on that injury update. If he is back fit, which I hope he is, definitely a keep for the upcoming double game week. Now against Brentford and Luton, I'm not expecting the world in terms of clean sheets, but Trent always offers that attacking threat, and there could be a haul in one of these games. Now the Carabao Cup final will be taking place next Saturday, so therefore the Luton game might have some rotation. So fingers crossed Trent's actually back and plays both games for 60 minutes. We are going to play the double up against Burnley though of Saliba and Gabriel. I've got faith in some massive hauls from them potentially, or at least a clean sheet from the defensive department. I could play Pedro Porro yet again, but I'm not going to do that after the massive hauls in game week 24, as Burnley's just a great fixture. Now midfield department also looks pretty good. We've got Richarlison against Wolves. I still expect him to play up front even though Son's back, and Spurs can score plenty of goals any game week, as they are quite an attacking side. Then Garnacho's been promoted from our bench. I just enjoy him more than Cole Palmer against Man City, so Luton away is a great game on the cards. Let's see if he wipes out those Doherty and those Kaminsky clean sheets. Saka against Burnley away, great form at the moment. Arsenal really scoring a lot of goals, so he's going nowhere in my starting 11. Then for Foden finally with a double game week of Chelsea at home, Brentford at home, 2 home games. Surely Foden gets some attacking returns. Now forward department's going to carry a nice little chip activation. The triple captain for Erling Haaland will probably be activated, but just watch out for that Champions League game coming up this midweek and make sure that Haaland doesn't get injured. I just feel like this game week is the one to use the triple captain. Haaland's containing some form from game week 24. Even though there might be some rotation here and there, I believe Erling Haaland's nailed for the majority of minutes. Besides him, not the only forward with the double game week, that's Darwin Núñez, also some great games, and then Dom Solanke against Newcastle, who can't keep a clean sheet. So overall, our forward line, our midfield line, and our defensive line look pretty decent. Fingers crossed Trent comes back from that injury. Now if you guys were to make one upgrade with that 3.8 left in the bank, what would you guys do? Comment it down below before I talk about my planned moves. So going on to our transfer plan, with 1 free transfer and 3.8 million left in the bank, a big upgrade can be made if you want to do it. But there's one player that I'm quite concerned about. So as you guys know, Trent came off at halftime for Harvey Elliott in Game Week 24, and Klopp said that he felt the same injury that kept him out for the previous game weeks. So this might be quite a concern, but it might have been a pure precaution. I'm all eyes and ears for the Trent news that's going to come up hopefully this midweek, because I'd rather keep him for this double game week against Brentford and Luton. But let's just say that Trent is confirmed out for this double, and he's blanking in Game Week 26 anyway, so I'll therefore make a transfer, and I could go for a like-for-like switch with Van Dijk. So at the current moment, the only player I really want to go for is going to be Van Dijk. Yes, he does have a blank game week as well in Game Week 26, but currently don't really favour any defenders for 25 and 26 to be honest. There might be a few options here and there, but I think currently Van Dijk might be the best option with that double game week, and the only thing this actually does is require me to take a -4 hit. So is Van Dijk worth a -4 over one of these other defenders? I don't exactly know, but I guess you could play the odds and hope for a haul in one of these fixtures. Another play that you might want to go for is going to be Connor Bradley, the natural replacement for Trent. With some personal issues at the current moment, I don't even know if he's going to start the first game. So basically the moral of the story here is just to wait and see what Klopp says in the press conference. No rush to kind of take Trent out at the moment, and therefore let's wait and see. So there is one player that I really want to go for this upcoming game week, and that's going to be the main man, Kevin De Bruyne. I know what you might be saying, he wasn't even starting against Everton, but when you guys saw him came off the bench and City went on to win the fixture, I just believe he's integral to that side and unlocking a low block team. So yes, De Bruyne, I do believe will start against Chelsea, but as mentioned with Erling Haaland, he has the Champions League coming up against Copenhagen, so just watch out for his minutes there and the injury news. But I just think if Kevin De Bruyne is fit, he's going to start both these games. Just such an asset in that Man City lineup, and even if he comes off the bench, he can get you attacking returns. So the added bonus about Kevin De Bruyne over someone like a Jota is that he does have a fixture against Bournemouth in Game Week 26. So what you're kind of comparing here is Diego Jota versus De Bruyne plus an extra transfer. So in my mind, just makes sense to go for the Man City triple up instead, and I can do this in one switch. So the two situations, or the two players that I will be taking out, the first one, let's say that Trent comes back to training, he's fit for the double game week, I'm going to keep Trent. I can afford Richarlison to De Bruyne with the exact funds. So fingers crossed no price rises for either side, don't expect them to happen, so Richarlison would be the upgrade for Kevin De Bruyne. Now yes, Wolves at home might be a fine fixture, but comparing kind of one fixture to 3 fixtures isn't really fair, and that's why I think the switch makes sense. Now the other situation might be if Trent is going to be injured and I want to take him to a Van Dijk, I'll then have enough funds to upgrade Cole Palmer, who I'd rather take out instead. Just has the worst fixture at the moment, also potentially blanks in Game Week 29 as well, and therefore I'd rather switch him out if I can. Now this would also require another -4 transfer though if I was to do Van Dijk in, but I think it's worth it over the long run. Now another option I could also go for is going for Diego Jota instead of De Bruyne. That would require an extra transfer though to get a full team in Game Week 26, and that's I'd only do that if De Bruyne maybe gets injured. Both assets are great if you isolate Game Week 25, but with the blank Game Week fixture for Man City, it edges it in De Bruyne's favour, and that's why I would prefer to go for him as a differential. So to conclude the transfer plan, the first move of Trent is going to depend on some injury news. The second one though for Kevin De Bruyne is pretty locked in, just depends if we take out Richarlison or Cole Palmer. So what do you guys think about my moves for the upcoming double Game Week 25? I actually think they look pretty decent, but you guys can let me know your thoughts. Also let me know what transfers you guys are planning and if you guys have any dilemmas. Now I'll be seeing you guys for plenty of videos this week, a free draft potentially, as well as the team selection coming up later in the week, where I will confirm my team as well as my transfers. But this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. And for the time being, I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.